I'm Eddie Hall, World's Strongest Man 2017, the first man to lift half a ton off the floor, and I'm here to beat the f*** out of Brian Shaw in arm wrestling.
Tell us about Brian Shaw. What do we know about Brian?
Brian is a big alpha man, always the strongest in the room, or thinks he's the strongest in the room. 4 times World's Strongest Man. Probably one of the strongest upper backs that's ever been witnessed in history of anyone ever. I think he's going to try and carry over his strongman attributes over to the arm wrestler, which is a good way of doing it, and I think it will take him a long way. But this is a technical sport, and this is, in my eyes, a bit of a combat sport. You know, it's about who's got the most aggression, who's going to give it their all on the day, who's going to take that victory. Comes down to the man who's going to attack it the hardest, and I think I have that over Brian.
We've never seen Brian in a combat environment. How do you think he's going to cope under that pressure? Well, where do you think his strengths and his weaknesses are under that?
I think Brian is a very competitive man. I mean, we've all seen him compete in strongman, and he thrives in those conditions. Although he has fallen down at times, he has let his mind get the better of him. And I think that's going to carry over to arm wrestling very well. You know, I think having that years and years of going to competitions and putting yourself in front of thousands of people, sometimes millions of people with TV, and showcasing what you've got. Some people thrive, some people don't. I think Brian tends to thrive, but you put a little bit too much pressure on Brian, I've seen him crumble on more than one occasion.
Why arm wrestling? Why now?
So arm wrestling is something that has been on my mind for a long time, since I retired, 2017. I had a bit of a backstage wrestle with Brian. By the way, Brian, I beat your ass. Backstage, you're a strongest man. Left hand, wipe the floor with you, can't deny it. And I don't know, just over that, I think, you know, at some points I've agreed to matches and they fell through for whatever reason. And I just feel like now's a good time, you know. I've sort of got everything set up business-wise. I've gone out and accomplished a lot of what I wanted to do. Feeling very settled, although I am training for fights and whatever else, but I just feel like it's the right time. Like the opportunity arose to arm wrestle Brian Shaw, and I was like, if it had been anyone else, I'd have probably said no, but the fact that I get to compete against Brian excited me. So snatched the opportunity, and yeah, I've gone all in. You know, I'm here to learn, drop the ego completely. I'm here to learn. You know, I know strength's not the #1 attribute for this, and I'm here to win. I'm not here to make a number up. I'm not here just to collect a few quid. You know, I want to beat Brian.
Your mindset before coming into training for this, before accepting the match, and your mindset now, has it changed any in terms of your respect for the sport or wanting to take the skills that you've learned further? Or just any of the knowledge that's made you think, you know what, are you enjoying yourself?
I am enjoying myself. You know, arm wrestling is definitely fun. I think the social aspect of it is just blokes getting around a table and arm wrestling and talking it's great. You know, it's just like going to the pub, innit? But better. You know, it's better for you. Has my mindset changed from when I started to now? Yeah, it has. I think, you know, the progression that I've shown with him, well, in my opinion, I think I can go on and beat Brian. I think I can go further and maybe beat the best in the world. It might take me a long time. I'm aware of that, and I think I'm capable, you know, like I've done with everything in my life. I'll drop all my spanners, so to say, and all guns blazing, go for it.
How serious do you think Brian is about the sport? And how do you think he's all in and he's going to stick around, or do you think this might be a 2-3 year thing for him if he doesn't do well?
I think Brian is all in on this. I think that he's wanted to do this for a long time. I think, you know, he's got a real fascination with grip. I think he classes himself as one of the best grips in the world, if not the best grip in the world. And that's obviously a very good attribute coming into arm wrestling. So I think secretly he's been training for it for a long time, if you think of it like that. He's been doing his grip with this in the back of his mind, thinking he's going to do it later at some point in his life. So I think Brian's been thinking about this for a long time, and I think if he does well, I think, yeah, he'll continue for probably 10 years, you don't know. But I think if he doesn't do well, yeah, it'll be a couple of shows and done job. I think the thing with Brian is he hates losing. He can't take losing, and I think if I were to beat him, I think it'd be absolutely devastating for him. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Do you think he genuinely, like, you know him better than any of us in this room, do you think he genuinely, if he wasn't super successful, do you definitely think he'd knock it on the head?
I think if Brian wasn't super successful at this, he'd knock it on the head, and I also think it'd play on his mental health a lot. I think guys like me and Brian, we thrive on the wins, and we dive into these dark, deep, horrible rabbit holes on the losses. And you get too many of those losses, it can do bad things to your head. So I think sometimes we need these little wins in life. We need these successes, and if you don't get enough of them, you pretty much f*** yourself.
But you think he might be able to survive this loss that I was about to say?
I think if Brian were to lose to me, it would hurt him a lot mentally. No, that's probably the wrong way to put it. I think it would really bash his ego. I think he thinks a lot of himself at this point. He's been training arm wrestling for the best part of a year. And yeah, I've come in with, what have I had? 7. I think it'll be, from the time of signing the contract to the show, it'll be 8 weeks of training. And then, a week of rest. So 8 weeks of training. So I'll have 8 weeks.
It's not even 8 weeks of training, mate, because you signed the contract. And we didn't come down for a week after that, and then
was in Dubai for a week.
So it's 7 weeks then, essentially. Yeah, and obviously I've been away on business. I was in Amsterdam for a week last week. That's a week miss. So yeah, if you add it all up, 6 weeks of training. These aren't excuses. These are just realities. Win, draw, or lose. I'll stand there and say, I'll give them the best. But yeah, 6 weeks of training coming into this show, and I feel like I've got a good chance.
And it's not just arm wrestling training you're doing either. It's not like you're not able to just fully focus, right, arm wrestling, that's...
Yeah, so I'm literally on the cusp of signing a contract to fight Maurice Podnowski as early as middle of January. So I'll be balls deep in a fight camp, coming to the arm wrestling Brian, which is a dangerous territory for me because everything's been pushed to the limits. But in some ways it's good, like if it's MMA, which I'm hoping it will be, that arm strength plays dividends in the grappling, and it already has done. Like the grappling since I've been doing the arm wrestling training has shot up because I'm just clinging on to people and they just can't get me off. It's made a massive difference. Yeah, very sore. Legs are always sore. Hips are always sore. Obviously, bodies are sore all over just from training so much. And but I love a challenge. I think I couldn't just do the arm wrestling anyway. I think I'd have to have a multiple tasks. Like if I wasn't doing the MMA, I'd be doing swimming, or something would be taking me adrift. Can't just zone in on one thing at the minute, right?
So we can't make the other sport tiddlywinks or anything like that. We can't.
No. I like challenging myself physically. I like challenging myself. So, and I feel like arm wrestling, yes, it's a challenge, but I don't think it's an all-over physical sort of keep fit and pushing your boundaries. I like to push the boundaries. Hope you sleep great, be great. Tomorrow we're gonna have a great day. And I'm going to win. It's great arm wrestling. Okay, be great. 4 times full strength man. Be great.
Arm Wars is the home of arm wrestling.
It is the pinnacle.
Arm Wars gives you the ability to dig deep.
Where arm wrestling glory is made.
You get to show who you really are.
A step in the right direction for the sport.
Where so many of us come to test ourselves.
Arm Wars isn't the same as other promotions.
Ultimate bloodbath on an arm wrestling table.
I don't care who you are, if you're extremely good or not.
You're for sure going to war.
6 rounds, lots of ways to show dominance.
If you're not tough, guys, maybe Arm Wars.
The whole world's watching.
Go to Arm Wars.
It's an arena like no other.
It started here.
Check out Arm Wars.
Subscribe, watch the fights, enjoy the arm wrestling.